Hey folks, we're late on the scene today, but we are ready to go once again with our storage container transfer. And this is a little hint at what we shall be working on next. This is for the crafting list and an indicator to tell us how many we still have to do and the time it's going to take to do each one. But that is for later. So if we come back and we are looking now at storage, we can take a look at this and that's storage. Right, so this is it here. Okay. And we now have to transfer stuff. Okay. So if we have a look, we can check this out, and it might take a second. There we go. And we do that. Okay, and now if we look at this, we should be able to click on these buttons now. Okay, so the first thing we've got to do is we've got to check if we have a selected thing. Okay, and the next thing is we need to select on the hover. Okay, so with that in mind, on the hover, let's make it green, I suppose. Kind of darker green. We'll OK that and we'll copy it. So we shall basically do one button first and then take it from there. Okay. And in fact, we'll quickly do this one, paste that, paste that. Right, so these are the from storage to in hand. Okay, so if we look at these, we can say button to inventory single, right? We can do that. Then this one is going to be button to inventory all. Okay, so we're going to do it here and then grab the button on clicked. Okay, then we're going to say move to hand, and then we're going to say move to storage. So we have our two functions that these are going to call. Okay, now these are going to have an input, and that's going to be quantity, and it's going to be an integer, and move to storage is going to have the exact same thing. Quantity. Okay, so first of all we'll go in here, we'll go to our designer, we'll get our second box, our second button, sorry, and I'm not too sure why. Yeah, we'll leave it at that for the moment. Right, and then we'll do all. Okay. And this is move to hand. And what we'll do is we'll say make a variable called temp transfer qty quantity, right, and that's going to be an integer. Okay, so we're going to set this here, and that's going to be 1 in this case. Okay, and just for argument's sake, we do need to return the amount that's related to this button. So it's actually this one, right? And we can break this and get the item quantity. And in actual fact, our move to hand is going to need an item. So it's going to be product, and it's going to be the same type as this, so it's a struct supply. Okay, so we're going to say struct supply, and we're going to do that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is go back here. Okay, we're not. We're going to go to the event graph. And we don't actually need the quantity here, now that I think about it. So we'll remove that in a minute. And we actually don't need this either. So we basically this here, temp transfer, this is not, this is going to be temp transfer struct, and it's going to be struct supply. So this is going to go directly into here. Then for this, we do something slightly different. But both of these go in here. And then this goes in here. Okay. Then we basically plug that in there. We're going to need that again. Okay. And we're going to make a struct supply. We're going to move this down a bit. Then we're going to break this. We're going to pass in the item, but we're going to set this to 1. Okay. Right. So that's all just chipper. Right. So we can save that. Hey Kofi, how you doing? Why is that warning us? Eh? Yeah, I thought that was a bit weird. Right, so next thing is we move to hand. Okay, so now we know that this quantity is actually irrelevant to us. So we can delete it. Right. So what we want to do now is we want to add to our inventory. Okay. So we get controller and so we've got to remove item from inventory. The problem is we haven't got add an item. Now, let's see if we can actually do that, right? So what we'll do is we'll create these in the FE controller so that we can actually do it. So if we go to blueprints and go to our FE controller, okay, and then remove cost, load, remove item from inventory. So this one here, I'm good, Kofi, how are you, mate? Right, and let's have a look at this. Right, so okay, this is doing something interesting. Yeah, so this will work kinda. Hey Wardage, how are you, mate? Right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to save this and we're going to create a new function, and we're going to say add item to inventory. And it's going to be basically the same as remove item from inventory, except we're doing an add. So it's basically going to be this. Right. So we'll do that. Now we are going to change this slightly. Item. And this is going to be plus int plus int. Right, so we'll put that in there. We'll delete that, and then this one is going to come in with a struct. Right, so we're going to add another input. Right, and it's going to be, let's call it struct, and it's going to be struct supply. And we're going to be pulling over here, we're going to break it, then we're going to get the item quantity. Okay, And that should be that. So we can save that. And now if we go back to our storage main, we can get our controller and say add inventory. Right, and that is going to go in there. Now this is going to change slightly. Right, because this item isn't actually required. Okay, so this item isn't actually required, but it's a kind of relic of a previous thing. But this is a new function, and what we can do is we can basically remove it from here. And that can go in there. Okay, wait a minute. So it's going in the bottom. Okay. So that'll do that. And we're never going to remove an index here. Okay. Our problem is we might have to add to an index. I might have to add this index. In fact, we probably are going to have to. Right, but we can try it anyway for the moment. Now, we aren't taking anything off the storage container at the moment, but we can do that in a second. So we shall do this first. And that's doing absolutely nothing, which is awesome, obviously. So we shall add a breakpoint there and there. So that's doing that. Right. So that's step over, bauxite 1. Okay. So we step into, step over, and step into. Okay. We have our array. So we step over, step over, step over, okay, So our index should be 1, I would reckon, or 0. And our item is 104. Alright, so that's not going to give us anything. Resume. Now, interestingly, if we close this and then we open it again, it's 104, right? So we just need to refresh that, and that's working actually okay. So if we resume this and close this and then click it again, we're now on 105, which is correct. Now if we do this, we should go to 116 once we click it and do all and resume. Okay, so we close that, open it, 116. So that's working perfect. Okay. So we can close that, we can stop that. Right, and what I want to do here is say 3, and similarly for this one we want to say 3. So that's all well and good. Okay. And what we want to do now, and this is a little bit of a change that's going to make us have to do a little bit more. This is all working okay, right? But we're going to have to change this FE controller, right? And that's because if we add, right, where was the other one? There was add item and then there was remove item. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into here and we're going to change this, and then this is going to screw up something else, but that's okay. Right, we're going to change this to struct supply. Okay, we're going to drag it down here and we're going to break it, and then our item is going to go in here, and then our quantity is going to go in here, and that should be us, right? But it is going to break everything here, but we shan't worry too much about that for the moment. Now this can basically go like that. We can drag that to there. Then we can drag this down. And we can straighten that out a bit to make it look nice, or nicer. Right. Now we are going to have to make some minor slight changes to this, and the other thing is we're going to have to find references for this. And then we're going to have to update this with a struct. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Let's remove item from inventory. Okay, whatever. Alright, so that's weird. Okay. Okay, we'll worry about that later. Right. Because that's a special case. That's not really remove item from inventory. That's more like remove built item, right? So we'll work on that later. But for our purposes, we don't really need to worry about that too much. So we'll carry on with that. Close that down. And that should work for us, right? Now, after we remove the item from the inventory, or we move it to hand, right? We need to take from the storage container. Okay. So it's going to be remove. Well, what we're going to do here is we're going to create a function remove from storage and we're going to say add to storage. Okay, and both of these are going to have an input of struct. That's fine. Then this one is going to be the exact same thing. It's going to be struct. Okay. So the first one to do is the add to storage, and this is going to be the exact same as add to inventory, except we're going to do it the other way around. Okay, we're going to do it with the building, right? Actually, yeah, okay. So this is the add to storage, right? And we're going to have a remove from storage. So we do that. Except we get our building, right? And we get the output. Actually, we get comp interesting. Let's save that just now, and what we'll do is we'll look at our storage container and let's see what it's got. It's got a comp output, right? Ah, that's because it's a building, right? Okay. Okay, we're with you. So this is a BP based building, right? So we need to cast this to storage. Put this in here. And we put this in here. And we drag this and put it in here. Okay. We're going to be doing slightly more here. I'm going to be getting comp output. Okay, now we need to know what the comp output variable is here. Okay, S output. Okay, we're gonna have to say for each loop with break, and we basically plug these other ones in here. So that goes in here, that goes in here, that goes in here, that goes in here, then this Now that's a bit of a poor name for that, I'm going to say. And that goes in there. Then this can go. Then this can go in here. This can get deleted. Then this can go up. And if we drag this down a bit, we can drag that in there. Then move it down a bit. And plug it in here. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to set array element. Then we're going to plug that in there. Plug that in there. Plug that in there. Okay, we're not. We're going to plug that in there. Then we're going to delete that. Then we're going to delete that. That's not struct supply. Actually, yeah, it is. Plug that in there. And plug that in there. Delete that. Compile. And we're good to go. So this is going to add to storage. Okay, so if we go back to the event graph, if we move to hand, right, we then remove from storage. And we remove the same from storage as what we did here. So whatever we added to the inventory, we remove from the storage. Okay. And we shall test that in a second. I'm just going to grab a quick cigarette. I'll be back in about 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Okay guys, we're back again. Hi Mr. Spock. And we carry on with this. Right, so when we move to hand, we add to inventory and we remove from storage. Okay. So let's try this and see what happens. And here we go. Right, so we've got 100, we've got 11, right? We select that and we move 1. Okay, we resume this. Then we're not updating yet, so we'll close that and we'll click on it again. That's got 11, that's got 101. Okay, so if we move them all, we resume that, we close it, then we roll it again, and this isn't getting removed. Okay, so we need to check the remove from storage container. So we come to here, remove from storage, and we didn't remove it from storage, we did the add to storage. So that would explain a lot. Right? So this can get copied then we paste it in here, move it into position, to about there, join that up. Okay, try and join it up again, drag that down to there, and instead of adding, we subtract. And that goes in there, and that goes in there, and that goes in there. And we save that. And we delete the other one out of the way. This goes in here. We can clean this up. We can save that. And now we try it. So, hopefully, all will be well in the world. So, we do that, we move everything, we resume, we close it, we open it again, and it did jack shit. That's because I didn't select it. Right, and we resume, we close it, and ta-da! $111, nothing here. Right. So our actual thing here is we stop it, and we rebuild these. Okay, so we build inventory grid and we build storage grid. Okay, and we can do it down here somewhere because these are going to join up, and we're going to have to do this with the other ones. So that's build inventory grid, and then we build storage grid, and then that's going to refresh everything for us once we actually transfer it. So now when we do it, it should all get updated on the spot, right? And that'll all be great. Well, it's not be great, it'll be working, functional. Okay. So we select this, then we move one, we resume, and there we go. That's went down to 10, that's went to 101. We can select this again and move everything. And now what we can do is we can basically disable that breakpoint and disable that breakpoint. Resume, and there we go. So there is our storage to hand working. Okay. So now we need to do the other one. Okay. We need it to go from hand into storage. Right, but we'll show you this working again, right? Right, so we'll stop it and also show you it working as it should for the moment in real time. So we click on that, we click on that to move it, we click on 1, and you'll see that that's went to 101, that's went to 10. Click on it again, that's went to 9, that's went to 102. Click on it again, move everything, that goes to 111, this is now empty. Perfecto. Okay. Now the interesting thing here is going to be when we add, right? Because if we don't have an index to add, then we're going to have to create a new one on the fly. Okay, so this might be a little more interesting, shall we say. And also we might have to do a bit of a check-in here, because if we haven't got the thing, then we might need to create a new index for it, a new index in the array. Okay, but we'll worry about that in a second, right? So now what we want to do is we want to get our other buttons, which is this one, and that's going to be button to storage, that's going to be single, and then the other one, that wasn't actually single, actually it was, right, button to storage all. Okay, which is cool. So we can do our add button, then we can go back to designer, click on the other one, get the button, and that's our two buttons here. So we've got move to hand, and now what we want is move. I've already written the other one, which is move to what do you call it? Which is move to storage. So we get the selected storage product. Okay. And this is going to actually be moved to storage, right? And this isn't going to be a quantity, right? This is actually going to be our struct. So we go struct, and that's struct supply. Okay. And then this is going to call add to storage. And then there's one that's going to remove. We're going to get the controller. Get the controller, right? And we're going to remove item from inventory, right? So in this case, in the earlier one, we removed from storage and added to the inventory. In this one, we're going to add to storage and remove from inventory. Okay? So we go in here. Whoops. Go in here. Into here. And this one goes in here. Goes in here. Okay. And our add to storage is fine. This remove index doesn't actually need to be there. And finally, we get this here, and we make a struct supply. We change this to 1. We break this. We plug the item in. And then we hide unconnected. Then we can do that. That can go to there. And then we set this. Right, so this doesn't go to there. This goes to here. That goes to there. Then this goes to here. And we basically do that. We get this. Then we do that. And it's selected storage product. and that goes directly into there. We join these up. Okay. And then what we do is we join that to there. Now, if all goes well here, this is going to work first time on the volley. But I think we still have an issue. But we shall solve that in a second. Okay. So if we click on that, and we click on that, now these are disappearing, don't know why, but we'll work that out in a minute. Well, that didn't really do anything, to be fair. Okay. So, if we click on a single, we'll add the breakpoint. Come in here, bauxite, go. Right, so we're getting our input. Step over. And we are not getting the bauxite here. Okay, so that explains it. So when we're clicking on the inventory items, it isn't setting the storage item. Okay, that's the first initial problem we have. So what we need to do, storage grid, and we're making a storage item widget. So we need to have a look at this. So we are setting it here. What's that doing? I don't think that should be there. Okay, well. So if we go into the storage item, I'm getting the feeling that shouldn't be there. So we'll clear that, we'll move that out the way, and then we'll go there. Right. So basically this should all be working now. It's just a matter of doing a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Debug and tidy up. Like this bit here. Right, so we hit bauxite. We hit that. We should have put a breakpoint in the other place, but hey ho. Step over. We'll step over that and we'll find out what this is. Okay, we won't. And we're not getting the value here. We have got an item quantity of 1, right? So that's a bit of a improvement. So what we can see is add breakpoint there. We can resume that. Then we can click this again. And it didn't fire this. Right? It's not firing that at all. Okay. So we need to check this to see if it's actually on or not. Is enabled, it's visible. Now let's check these ones to make sure that we're not disabling these. Right, that's enabled. And not hit testable, self only. Right, that should be okay. Alright, let's just double check on this. Is enabled, is visible. That should be fine. Right, so you should be able to click anywhere on here. Right, so it's a bit bizarre. I'll see if this is anything to do with the weird place that you click on it or something. Then we shall check out to see what's going on with stuff. Right. So we click bauxite. Now that one works. Yeah, and that's the one we're testing. Step over. Right, that's none. Right, but hang on a second. If you click on that, right, hang on, I want to see something. I want to see this here, which isn't going to show me. So it's actually going to be in here. So is this getting set up somewhere here or something? Shouldn't be. Alright, so this is kinda weird. Well, that's bizarre. That's setting it to nothing. Wow. The more I investigate this, the weirder it looks. So I think it's that. Right, so weird. Right. It is. And that wasn't plugged in. Right? And that's why it wasn't getting set. So if we resume, click that, step over, this should now be the right thing, which it isn't, which is brilliant. Right, so this is actually bollocks. We'll resume that, right? If we select that, we can resume. 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 And that works. Okay. So we're selecting the right thing here. But if we click this and we step over, our struct product is right, but that should be, so that's saying selected inventory product, right? Right, I'm getting myself confused now. I'm going to have to stop for a minute and have a think about this. So this is storage item. So this is selected storage, right? So I'm getting myself confused. Right, let's think about this. Okay, so we press continue. we're going to work this one out. Right, we click on this. We click on this. And this is in inventory storage. Okay? And I think it was this one that we wanted to, yep, okay. Okay. So we do that. And I think we need that, but I'm going to take it out for now. I want to see how this goes. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. Right. So we step over and we've got our bauxite 100. Resume. Okay. Then we hit our button. Okay. And we are getting selected storage product. Or we're setting it anyway. No, we're getting it. And that says none and none. So this isn't getting set right. Okay. Selected storage product. Selected inventory. So that's the wrong freaking thing. So that should be selected storage product. Okay. That was a bit bloody obvious. Save that. Place that. Resume. Oh, that was a bit of a detour for right. So if we do bauxite, right, we'll resume that, and then we hit this button here. Step over. There we have it, bauxite, right? Then resume. And 99.12. Okay. We can do that again. We can undo that, disable. Resume. And then we can bring over everything. And yeah, there we go, 111. Then we can do that. and we can put it all over there. It didn't refresh though. Right, now this is going to be vect. Right, now this was the thing I was talking about, that it's removing the index, okay, but the problem is it's not adding an index if it gets a new product. Okay, so that's something we need to take care of on both sides of the inventory and the storage, right? So we can start on that in a minute, but our basic fundamentals are working, right? Which is a good thing, obviously. Now, this is going to be fairly easy to do, but we're going to grab a drink first, and we shall be right back. Okay, we're back and ready to go. So what we need to do is when we add to something, we need to make sure that we either have it in the list or we take it away. Okay? So with that in mind, we have to go to our storage main, and when we add something, right, we want to make sure that it's got that thing. Okay? So what we've got to do here is let me just make sure I'm thinking about this correctly. Right, we'll move this down out the way. Right, and in this function we're going to add a local variable and we're going to call it has product. Okay, so when we first come in here, we're going to check to see if it has this product. So first thing we do is we're going to set it to true. No, we're not. We're going to set it to false. Right? Then we're going to loop through our products available from our controller. Right? And then we're going to say for each with break. Okay. Then I'm going to give myself a good bit of space here. Not that it's complicated code, but just to give myself some space. Right, so then we're going to say we're going to break the supply. And then if that equals then we're going to break this. That. Okay. So if that equals that, if the one item equals an item in our list, then we can basically break out and say it's true. We have got that item, in which case we can carry on. If we haven't, we have to add a blank space in the array for that new item. Okay? So we say branch that. Okay. We can move all of this stuff to the left a bit. Give ourselves some space again. Okay. So basically now what we say is has product, set it to true. And then if it's true, we break out. Okay, so that goes in there. And the next thing we do is tidy this up a bit. So that's all nice. So on completion, we can come down here and we actually branch, and we branch again has product against has product, right? Now if it has product, then we basically go in here straight away. Okay. And if we don't, then what we do is we get this and we add right, and we make struct right, and it's going to be 0, and it's going to be the item here, right? So what we'll do is we'll copy that, we'll bring it down here, we'll join it to here, we'll move it along a bit, okay, and if that's false, it goes to here. We put the item in here. We leave the quantity at 0 because we're going to add to it anyway. So we just add it back in there, and that should be us. Right, now we're going to have to do the exact same thing when we are adding to our storage. Okay, so when we add to the storage, we're basically going to do the same thing. Okay, now let's have a think about this. If I need to do any weird stuff, right, so we're gonna have to add it to this, okay, which is fine. And we can just basically go like that. Of course, we're going to have to click on this and add a local variable called has product. Right, and that is going to be a bool. Okay, so we're going to move this further out, and we might need to do this first. In fact, we probably will. Okay, so we'll add it in there, then we'll break that and we'll add it in there. We'll compile that for now. And then this code here, we can work out where it needs to go. So the first thing we're going to do is put that in there. And then we remove that and we do that, which we can't do. So we need to do for each with break. Okay. And then we can move these things here, from here to here, from here to here. Right, from here to here, but we can't, but we can sort that out in a minute. Right. This can go from here to here. And that can go to there. And this can be deleted. And this can be deleted. We can move this up. Then this gets pulled off. And we put the item in there. Okay. And we're at our products available again. So yeah, I didn't think it was going to allow me to do that. But we can add. Right, so we're adding. Okay. And we're doing that. We're deleting that. Then this is going in here. Then we are structuring that, doing that. That's fine. So we add the item. Then we delete this. We move this to here. We add this to here. And then this goes to here. Okay? And this can go to here. Right. So now all of this can get moved up. Then we can tidy up a bit. Okay. We can plug this into here. And that should be us, guys. That should be us. So okay, so it's going to be an ass. Okay. So we can join this up. We can delete that. Bring this back. And I'm guessing, yeah. That can go to there. That can go to there. Delete that. Bring this back down. Save that. And there we go. Right, so we were just basically making sure that the product existed in the array before we add it to the array, okay? So we need to check if it already exists in the array. We need to set that to true, right? So basically, it loops around all the items, checks it against the one that we're trying to add. If it does exist, then it basically does nothing and carries on to actually add the item or the quantity, right? If it doesn't, then basically what it does is creates a new blank array item with a quantity of 0, and then that allows us to carry on and then add to the array, okay? And that's basically it. So we had to do that in the case of the storage container when we add it, and we had to do it for the player's inventory when they didn't have that item, okay? So now when I do this, I should be able to add all the different items to the storage box that are in my inventory, right? Now it doesn't matter if they already exist in the storage container or not, right? So basically we have bauxite, so that's fine, right? Because we can add bauxite because it's already got an index here, right? But we haven't got copper sheet, right? So if we add it, you'll notice that it now goes in there. Right, we've got a new item in our storage. If we add copper ore, right, it's going to add it to our array. Right? Now, if we add it and add them all, it adds them all and takes it away from here, right? But now, if we click on that one and add it all here, it all goes back in here. So that works exactly how I want it to, right? So like we can add one of these, right? We can add one of these, right? We could add all of these, then all of them, then all of them, all of them, and them, right? So we've now nothing in our inventory. But what we can now do is we can actually add everything, take everything from storage and add it to our personal inventory. There you go. And that is practically wonderful timing. But there you have it. There's how to do inventory transfer. Anybody got any questions there? Or do they just love it? Because I kind of love it. It works exactly how I imagined it would work. And it's doing everything exactly how I wanted it to do it. which is excellent. There we've added one. Excellent. And I'm getting eaten alive again by freaking, what do you call it? Mosquitoes. Right, so that is highly impressive. I'm quite impressed with that myself. And 2. Awesome. And with that, guys, it's nearly the hour, so that's perfect timing. If you've enjoyed the stream, hit the subscribe button and the like button and whatever buttons you want to press. And check out the description for my Discord and also my Patreon and my previous game on Steam, which is a tower defense game. And with that, have a great afternoon or evening, guys. Bye bye for now.